Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesdays at 2. We'll be right with you. We're just waiting for everyone to come on board. And we're going to do our demonstration today and talk about a new challenge and maybe answer some questions. Mhm. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesdays at 2. Jessica won't be with us again. Kids are out of school and they're going on summer vacations and everything. So it's Brenda and I once again. We we're hoping we've learned a little bit, and we have a really great program for you today. So hopefully everyone got the newsletter. And if you are not on our newsletter list, you can do that by going to islandersewing.com, and newsletter is in the top menu bar. Click on that and you can not only subscribe to the newsletter, but you could peruse some of the older newsletters because there's an archive there with quite a few of our newsletters and some really good information in those as well. And if you ever order from our website, you'll also automatically have an opportunity to get the newsletter, which of course you can opt out of. Okay, so did we have any housekeeping today?
Nope, just voting.
Just what?
Voting from last year.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, the voting was pretty exciting. I came to work that morning a little bit late, and Brenda goes, "This is exciting." I go, "What?" And she goes, "There's so many votes, and it's kind of fun." She tried to keep up with because they went back and forth. Different ones were at the top, and then they'd fall, and another one would rise. But I think some of our top, well, obviously our top one was the half placket, and then there was the twisted waist was a real big popular one. Was there another one, Brenda?
Neckline, asymmetrical.
Oh, the asymmetrical neckline, which is really fun. And of course, we have the artisan tee with the asymmetrical neckline. So that would be a good place to start if that's what you're looking for. And maybe we can accomplish that at a later date. Um, I I think that twisted waist was really fun too, and there's a lot of different versions of that out there and different ways to accomplish it as well. So we were kind of looking into it, thinking that that might be the top one, but the half placket was the winner, and I think it's really could be a lot of fun to add that to your stop the insanity. So, for those of you who might be new, a few years ago, and I can't remember exactly, but I think it was during COVID, we did the Stop the Insanity series here on Tuesdays at 2 when we were on once a week. And each week we would show how to take the same pattern and come up with a very different look. So we did it with knits and we did it with wovens. And with the wovens, what we did was is we said, take your favorite shirt pattern. So two of the most popular ones for us here at Islander are the Everybody's shirt. That's 223. And Shirt Makers Express is 227, I believe. And both those are women's shirt patterns. And you can start with those, but we've also added the designer blouse block, sloper block. If you want to start and get a really good fit with the block, and then you can make all kinds of adaptations that go way beyond a camp shirt, dresses, gowns, anything. Once you get that really good fit in the bodice, then the sky's the limit. So we've added that pattern to camp shirt, Janet's camp shirt conversion kit. So the conversion kit that we developed a few years ago starts with your favorite shirt pattern and then take that shirt pattern and change it to be an entirely different shirt. So just to show the examples, let's show what we have on display today. And we'll show you what we did just with, I think this one is mostly the everybody shirt pattern. And if we could swing this around, I would just, yeah. Hang on, don't get dizzy. See, so that goes the other way. Okay, you're good. You're good. Okay, just gotta zoom out a little. There you go. Out, out, the other way. The other way. There you go. Stop. All right. So what you see here is my most recent one as here, the black one. I got it. I got it. And that one is very loose fitting and it's out of a rayon. And I made this, what they're showing a lot this year is a fuller sleeve. Just a fuller at the bottom. It kind of gathers up here. So I kind of changed the sleeve. And this is the basic, um, probably the everybody, or not the everybody's, I'm sorry, shirt makers with the placket and everything. This is one we did during the series. It's out of lawn, both of these. The stripe, as you may recognize, is from our stripe challenge that we had a couple months ago. But it again is the same pattern as everything else up here. So that one I made with the kimono sleeve. So it has no set-in sleeve, which makes it a little bit quicker to put together. But then again, we did a little piecing, so we probably didn't save a lot of time. This one has the half placket. Will you double check and make sure they can see what I'm pointing at? Just go around the back. Thanks. I don't know if I think the camera needs to just go more at an angle here.
You can see.
There you go. So this is a little dress made again from the same pattern as everything else here with a little half placket. And we kind of copied a ready to wear idea and put some plackets at the hemline too, which nice little detail, something different. And this one we did recently. We showed you all how to do it. I don't know if it wasn't last month, about 2 or 3 months ago. You'll find it in the archives either on YouTube or on Facebook here. But we showed you how to take that camp shirt that has the placket and turn it into a convertible collar without a placket, making it a different look entirely, as well as a much faster sew, much faster to cut and much faster to sew this than the one with the placket. So, anyways, this is what our Stop the Insanity series is all about. Taking one pattern and realizing once you got a good fit, the bodice is the mainstay of a dress, a nightgown, an evening gown, a blouse. It's all the same thing, short sleeve, long sleeve. Get one to fit, and then you can play just like we have. And we show you how. Again, that's in the playlist on YouTube, and it's called Stop the Insanity. Okay, well, let's get to today's demo. All right, I'm going to ask Brenda to see if there are any questions uh, so far. Any comments? Anything somebody needs to know right away?
Where did the video go? Uh-oh. Oh, I think good.
Okay. All right. Please let us know if for some reason you can't see or hear us.
Oh.
Brenda's checking the questions now.
Someone asked about the neckline you're wearing.
Yeah.
Did you do the binding with the wrong side out of the fabric? I like it.
It's just bound over the edge, but I didn't make this one. Okay.
Okay.
But ready to wear is your best clue on all these kind of changes. You know, people say to me, well, what size button should I use? Or how should I sew the pocket on? I always say, go to your closet, look at current ready to wear, or go to your local mall or Nordstrom's is my favorite place. Because if I'm going to copy ready to wear, I'm copying high end ready to wear. Okay, so let's talk about this half placket. So a half placket is put in the center front. What we're doing here is a center front placket, and it's for a pullover. So you could do French terry, a sweatshirt fleece. You could do a cotton like I did with the dress. Um, just about anything. You could take it from sporty to dressy. Anything that you sounds fun, but it'll be a pullover. So on the neckline, you're going to draw a straight line the length of the opening. So for our example and the instructions that I'm giving you today, which were on the screen when we opened, and we'll play them again at the end of the series so you'll have a chance to take a look. But this is for a 6.5 inch opening. So what I want to do is draw that line down where that center front is. Let me tell you, first of all, if you're going to take your regular shirt pattern, do I need to come up there where we talked about? Sure.
And it's okay. Wait, cockeyed?
Yeah, it's crooked.
I don't.
There you go. Here, there, now. How's that? Okay. All right, so this is going to be a 6.5 inch opening. Now, using the directions in Connie's book on how to make the placket, if you have the book, and I know a lot of you do, is on page 126, and it explains the mechanics of developing the pattern pieces on how to make the placket. It doesn't give you any sewing information or pattern conversion. So let me explain. So if you're going to use your Stop the Insanity shirt pattern, you're going to put the center front of either the right or the left. It doesn't matter anymore because you're not going to have an overlap. The center front will now become the fold line. So here's the one we did. Brenda, can you see if you can see this? I see the fold. Okay, so this is the one we did for the conversion, I mean the convertible collar, where we did a facing, a cut on facing. But in any case, any shirt pattern you have is going to have a center front line. Well, now that center front line just became your fold line. And then your placket is going to be put on that center front line. And in Connie's drafting book, which is the directions we're using today, you could use it and make your placket any length you want. But today I'm going to give you directions for a 6.5 inch opening. All right, so remember, this is going to go on the center front on the fold, most likely. And then I'm going to draw a 6.5 inch opening. Now, at the bottom of that opening, I want to draw a very long line. And for those of you who have, let's see, what else do we do this with? Well, we do it with bound buttonholes. We do it with anything where the foot might get in the way and we have to have a specific place to stop. We make the line very long. Normally in a pattern, it might just have a little hash mark or something. Make it long so you can see it, and that will, I'll explain further as we go along. Now we need one more line, a 1/2 inch below this one. All right, so let me draw that and I'll explain why we're putting that there. All right, this is our opening. And then we want to be able to open that. So we have to create some slits at the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm marking 1/4 inch away from the center. And that's because this is our stitching line. And then our stitching seam allowance is 1/4 inch. So then we want to clip from here to here and from here to here. So I'll just draw that out for you. And this is necessary to be able to uh, make this whole thing turn properly. All right, let's see. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. So we're going to clip from here to here, here to here, and we're going to cut all the way down here. So in other words, slip this down here. Now I'm going to do this with my rotary cutter. Do not do this with your rotary cutter, because most people will go past that line, and you do not want to go past that line. You want to get right to it, but not past it. So don't do what I just did, because mine is only a sample to begin with, so I can be a little bit braver. But that's what it's going to look like. And then you're going to do one little thing at the ironing station. And remember that little slits we made? We're going to take that triangle shape and press it to the right side. Now, this is a place where you could easily get mixed up and press it to the wrong side, because if you've done welt pockets and you've done bound buttonholes, you're going to think it goes on the inside. But in this case, trust me, fold it to the outside, press that in place right along that line. So that's what we have here, the other side of this one. I hope I'm doing all right, Brenda. Okay, so then you're going to cut out the upper and lower plackets. And again, 6.5 inch opening. So our under placket is 7.5 inches long and 2.25 inches wide, with our upper placket being 8 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. Very good reason for that, because this upper placket is going to cover the under placket. You want just that little extra to conceal it so it doesn't look wonky. Okay, so then you're going to cut one of each of those, and then you're going to take it to the iron and you're going to press it in half lengthwise. And be sure to do this in advance. This is what keeps your placket nice and true, because you know it has to fold right here. If you don't fold it first and you stitch it to one side and flip it over, stitch it to the other, it becomes ambiguous, and that's when you start getting tweaks and things. So make sure you press that and do a hard press. Give it a real hard press with your clapper. So steam, hot steam, and then push down with the clapper, and you'll keep that press. And it'll be sharp like that one is. Okay, so do that with your under placket and your upper placket. Then you clipped, you cut, clipped, pressed your plackets. Now you're going to go to the sewing. And the first thing you're going to stitch on is the under placket. The under placket is sewn to the wrong side first. Now, in industrial sewing, in professional garment manufacturing, we do not do it the way they do in home sewing. In home sewing, you'd be sewing this to the right side. Then you'd bring it to the back, and then you try to top stitch it from the back, hoping it looks good on the right side, which it probably won't. So, if we stitch it from the back first, then when we're top stitching, it's WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. You're not worried that the other side is going to look bad, because the side that people are going to see is the side you're stitching to. So stitch it to the wrong side, 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you're going to stop precisely at these long lines. That's why I made them so long, because once this placket's on here, if it was marked under here, you wouldn't be sure where it was. But this way, if you stop with your needle down, turn your machine at a 90-degree angle, and if it appears that you'd be stitching right on that line when you turn that corner, then you know you stopped in exactly the right place. Now just back up a few stitches or turn around and go up a few stitches on top of the previous ones just to hold it in place. Okay, now you're going to turn that around and stitch it to the right side by turning under 1/4 inch, laying that fold right on top of the previous stitching, and it will lay flat on that fold if you do that. Keep it accurate. You're just going to stitch right to that line again. So that's all you have to do with the under placket. All right, we're just moving right along. Okay, so then we want to get the upper placket prepared. So what do I do for upper placket? Let's put that under there for now. Okay, so we know we want us, the upper placket is going to have a finished end on it, a finished end. To know exactly where to finish that to, I lay this placket right on this center front line, and right at that cut line, this side needs a little clip. So we got a little clip there, and we've stitched around. So we're going to make a little mark there, and then we're going to stitch this little L-shaped corner. I think I have one here. Here. You're going to stitch it like this. So I have, use the wrong example here. I've laid this on here and marked it right at that spot, and then clipped it. Just this side that you lay against here needs to be clipped, and clip it right to the stitching. Not almost to the stitching, to the stitching. If you want this to lay nice and flat, you have to do that. All right, and then you're going to cut your corner off at a 45-degree angle. And why do we do that? And we don't cut this corner, and why don't we? Because whenever you're going to top stitch something, you need a filling, and you need the filling to be consistent, or your tension and your stitching will look different in an area that has more or less thickness. So let's look at what this would look like on the inside. Well, there's that seam allowance, and it fills up that whole spot that we're going to top stitch. And then on this side, we cut that corner off because it would just ball up in there. But if we cut it off at the 45 degrees, and you know this is going to fold in like this, you can see that now that fills that corner. I hope you can see that. So that fills the corner too. If by chance you fold that over and they're overlapping, just go back and trim a little bit. Okay, so again, we've clipped it right up to that stitching. We've trimmed this corner, but not this one. Then we're going to turn it right side out. Use your point turner, do a nice press, and this is what it'll look like.
Question.
Okay.
Should you interface the placket?
Oh, good question. Interfacing the placket. You have two options with the placket. Okay, if it's denim, I'm not interfacing it. Okay. If it is a lightweight fabric, then I'm going to interface with light and stable the whole placket. So where have we got? These are all interfaced. The whole thing from side to side, top to bottom. If it's of a medium weight, it just might be that you only want to interface half of it. And the half you'll interface is the half that faces the public. The reason is when interfacing is put in, it keeps that fabric hard, smooth finish. And so that's why we want this to face the public, because it looks nicer. Okay. All right. Yes. Interfacing in both plackets, either half the placket or all of the placket. Is that it? Okay. All right. This is some of my favorite fabric from the Brazilian collection we got this year. And I haven't had a chance to make it into anything, so I decided at least I get a chance to make samples. So, anyway, now we're going to sew this after we've turned it right side out. You see, this is the side that's clipped. So we're going to sew that at 1/4 of an inch from that line all the way to the end. And then we're almost okay. So here's the fun thing about this. This is what I like about this is remember we folded our little triangle to the right side. Now our under placket goes over top of that, and then our upper placket goes over top of that. Now we're going to, always press your seam allowance in before you bring this over to top stitch it down. So we're going to top stitch that down, but then we have a little bit more work keeping all of these pieces like this. We're going to stitch around the square and over. So it looks like this. So I've stitched around, and at the bottom of the opening, you want to give it that reinforcement. Now you can put a X shape in the bottom. You can do anything you want. It's not necessary. The X is only decorative in this case, but you want to make sure you seal that down there. Now I also top stitch this edge as well, just because it makes it so nice and flat and looks consistent. And there you have your half placket. And I just love this little pink surprise there. All right. Did I miss anything? Does anybody have a question I can help you with? Remember, I can't say it enough. One of the big keys to keep this from getting tweaked is to press it in half and get a hard press on that. So I highly recommend using a clapper. And I'll remind you or tell those people that don't know why you use a clapper. What does it do? Well, what it does is it flattens the fabric and cools it at the same time. So when you iron your blouse, let's say, it gets nice and flat and it looks pretty. But once the steam and the heat leave it, the fibers that have been flattened down do rise back up a little bit. And that's okay when we're pressing a garment to wear, but when we're trying to sew on something and we want to make sure it stays flat. Why do we want to make sure it stays flat? Because we're going to have more accurate results and better top stitching because it stays so flat. So when that fiber heats up, if we put this hardwood clapper on top of it and hold it down just for a few seconds, the moisture gets absorbed into the wood and the fabric dries in place while it's being held flat. And that's why it'll stay flatter than it would if you just pressed it with a good iron. So consider if you've got a clapper, use it. If you don't, put it on your wish list because it comes in so handy. Anything you have to top stitch. Collars, collar bands, cuffs. Now, any questions?
What about knits? Same process?
Yes, the question came in as what about knits? Is it the same process? Yes, it is. Now, with a knit, you have to make your decision uh interfacing. If you use a knit interfacing. Now, and I would use our light and stable, but remember, it only stretches one way. That's horizontal. It doesn't stretch vertical. And I'm going to give you a little secret. There's no such thing as four-way stretch. There's only two-way stretch. In the professional garment industry, where you buy fabrics, where they mill fabrics, they call it one way or two way. One way is usually vertical, but sometimes horizontal. I mean, usually horizontal, but sometimes vertical. Two way is the second one. But somehow in home sewing, we started calling it four way, which is kind of funny because it's either this way or this way. And everything stretches on the bias. So, anyway, I would make sure that you got the stretch going the same direction as the stretch in the knit. And just as I did here, and this is what we do here at Islander when we're making a new pattern or we're getting ready to uh, sew something up we haven't done before. We make the samples, and it's just a scrap of fabric, a couple of pieces of fabric, and maybe you got to make two or three till you get it right. But then when you make it on your final garment, you don't have to do a lot of stitch ripping or say a lot of bad words because you already got the process down. So take a minute and cut out a quick sample. I did several here before I got it the way I wanted. For example, I did this one and I made this tail way too long. I didn't like it. And this one, I was kind of toying with a neckline that had a facing, so I kind of wanted to play with this one. And so I made two, three, four samples before I got exactly what I wanted. And taking the time to do that is there's no stress. And then when you make the garment again, it's just a lot more fun and easier. Okay, was there another one, Brenda?
Said it. It looks so easy.
It is easy. And if you've done our plackets, our sleeve plackets, especially with our shirt making, this is pretty similar process. Stitch it to one side, make sure it's pressed in half, bring it to the other side, turn it under a quarter of an inch, and put it right directly on top of the previous stitching and stitch right on top of that. And usually what you're going to find is you end up, let me see, you end up, I don't know if you can see this, but you end up with the same stitching on the other side. You see that? So here's where I top stitched it on this side. And this is the bobbin stitching that came out in the same location. And we're always worried about that. You know, in home sewing, we do waistbands, and again, we stitch them from the wrong side, hoping they're hitting in the right place. Well, again, if you do it our way, back and top stitch from the front, sometimes it's not going to look as good on the back, but it doesn't matter. But eventually, as you get your practice in, then it'll look the same on the back as it does the front, like ready to wear does, because we're using their techniques. You just have to practice a little. Okay, I want to talk about the challenge a little bit. So, and if you've got more questions, comments, questions about something else, send them in. The challenge, we were so excited at not only the response of those who participated in the stripe challenge, but the people that saw the slideshow and all of our friends. Everyone was inspired by that challenge. So we said, let's do it again. Only this time, you don't have to do stripes. You can pick any of the fabrics. I think Brenda said we have 23 of the shirting fabrics that are the lightweight summer shirting. They're all under the lawn category, but some are much lighter than others. This one, for instance, the one I'm using today, it's not a real light. It certainly wouldn't need the fine thread or anything. So, and if you have questions, please let us know. But I think the weights are all on the site. So, anyway, you have like 23 fabrics to choose from, and we're challenging you to do a camp shirt conversion. So, again, any shirt pattern, if you have a favorite shirt pattern that you've worked and got it to fit properly, then that's where you're going to start. And again, you can see a lot of our examples on YouTube under Stop the Insanity playlist. Let's see. So we're going to ask you to you can purchase a kit or you can just purchase fabric, whatever your needs are. Oh, we also added one other shirt pattern to this kit that wasn't there before, and that's the sloper block. So you might want to choose the sloper block, and especially if you don't have that one yet. So anyway, you're going to get a yard of the light and stable interfacing, which is perfect for this weight of fabric. So it'll be all the interfacing you need. You're going to get 7 coconut shell buttons. Most of them are hand dyed by moi, and they'll coordinate with the fabric that you choose. And again, the pattern of your choice. Now, if you say, well, I have all 3 of those patterns, but I want to participate, I want to get a kit, then buy the basic kit. So you're going to see on page 2 of our kits on the website, there are 4, 2 different size ranges, and also either deluxe, which includes the pattern of your choice, or basic, no pattern because you already have it. Now all you have to do is add thread and you can go for it. Take a look at the Stop the Insanity. Take a look at catalogs. Take a look at your closet. Something that you really like, a detail that you'd like to emulate or add to a new garment, and challenge yourself. Inspire yourself as we inspired you, and then we'll all inspire the sewing world in September. So we want you to get these done by the end of August. And all these details are in the latest newsletter as well. So we want you to get them done by the end of August. You're getting an extra 15% off on the conversion kits, and they are already 20% off. So it's a really good way to try out a camp shirt and to get some beautiful fabric. Okay, so you're going to email us in photos. Now, if you saw the slideshows from the stripe, be sure that you get us a large enough photo so that you can be in that slideshow. Some people are still on that 72 DPI size photograph, or maybe their computer automatically converts it to a lower version when it sends it. Those we can't use, they're just too small. So make sure that you have a higher resolution and send us 2 to 4 pictures of your finished garment by the end of August. And we will supply everyone who participates a gift certificate for the website. And forgive me, I forgot
$20.
$20 gift certificate, just like last time. So you get a $20 gift certificate to go on any order that you're going to purchase in the future. And you get a new shirt and you get a new technique. You get empowered and all that good stuff. And we're giving you all of July and all of August because we know we'll all have lots of things to do this summer. Anything I missed, Brenda? Yeah, you don't have to declare that you're entering. Just like I said, just purchase the fabric or the kit. If there's a technique and you need some kind of reference or have any question that you think I can help you, please let me know. I'd be glad to. We'll have fun. So I think, hmm, oh, I know. The other thing I put in the newsletter, again, for those of you who didn't get it, is we're doing the trade-in programs again. So what I found out was when we first did our video classes, we did them on VHS back in the 80s. And when we moved over to the we moved over DVDs, right? Yeah, DVDs. People came to us and said, I don't have a VHS machine anymore, and I don't want to lose my information. What can I do? Well, they can't copy it because it's encrypted because there's just too many pirates out there today. But what we thought was, well, they like our stuff and they bought it once, so why make somebody buy it twice at full price? So we are offering a trade-in of any version of Islander Sewing or Connie Crawford's DVDs. You trade it in. All you do is send us the pictures of the titles you want, and then we will charge you 50% of the current retail price plus the shipping to your location. Or you can trade them in for the ebook and the downloadable, and then there's no shipping at all. So if you've got those, and we also went to USB and we're trading those in too, because USBs are going by the wayside really fast. The newer computers don't even have ports for them, or if they have it, they've got one port and you need it for your remote mouse. So they're going by the wayside too. So if you've bought our USBs, we're happy to do a trade in for the downloadables. So you have the downloadable or the ebooks. The ebooks, they're not part of the trade in though, just the DVDs. So I kind of got carried away there. But that's what we're doing. If you have any questions about that, just send us an email. You'll get either Brenda or I at islandersewing@comcast.net. And that email address is also in the latest newsletter. So we'll be here to help you with those trade ins. But if you don't want to lose that data, this would be a good time to take advantage of that trade in. All right. I don't know. No more questions, people. Give me a good question. Anybody got a good sewing question? Something that's perplexing you? Probably not. Okay. That's okay. If you do send it on, we will be happy to help you anytime we can. And we try to put some of those letters in our newsletter, especially if they are techniques or something that we think a lot of people might be interested in, so that we can, share the information. So I hope you're having a wonderful summer, getting some sewing done, but also enjoying your family and the weather. I'm doing a lot of gardening myself and I'm enjoying it, but it's really, really been hot here. So I guess that's all for today, Brenda. Yeah, all right. Well, we appreciate you all, and we are here for you at Islander Sewing Systems. My name is Janet Prey, and I'm here today with Brenda Rogerson. Jessica Johnson's MIA this week. And we hope you have a wonderful summer. Lots of fun sewing. And we'll see you next month on the first Tuesday of August. Thanks so much. Happy sewing, everybody.